Miss, mine broke!
When these dads meet world, watching Boy Meets World. We grew up on the show, now we have kids, and host a podcast. We watch each episode and then share our thoughts and grades. When these dads meet world.
They want you to take the roles.
That's right. Take all the roles and welcome back to Dads Meet World, your weekly deep dive into the world of Boy Meets World, where we are in the midst of season 6 and deep into the heart of the freshman year, we think, of Pembroke University. I am dad number 1 this week, Brett, joined by dad number 2.
I am Mr. Ruining Boy Meets World for my family, Tyler.
My family just stopped paying attention to my obsession a long time ago.
No, my wife legit today looked me in the face and said, "You've ruined this show for me." I was like, "What are you talking about? The show is amazing." She goes, "No, I don't like the show anymore." And I go, "But I still like it." And she goes, "Nobody else does."
Yeah, my family is just kind of, I do my own thing and they do their thing now. I don't think Abby's listened to an episode in a long time.
She barely listened when she's in the episode.
I know. Well, Tyler, how's your week going?
Well, let's go back for a minute, Brett. We didn't release a new episode last week, and that's completely on me because I took my family to go meet characters like Cookie Monster and Elmo, Big Bird. Yeah, we had a good time. And I finally got to meet Grover, who I've always wanted to meet. I would have a Grover shirt on, but Grayson said I want Grover, and I said fine, I'll take Cookie Monster. And then he was like, but wait, I also want Oscar. And it's like, you're not picking multiple Sesame Street characters.
You only get one.
Yeah, but I mean, he fits Oscar the Grouch so much sometimes. Like, he kept having this grumpy face on, and we'd be like, take a picture. He's like, meh. And I'm like, just take a picture, make it for us. He's like, yeah.
Yeah, Kelly saw
So, yeah,
some
no.
of the pictures that you sent. She's like, that is such a Tyler face.
Well, I have two faces: happy-go-lucky, goofy, silly Tyler, and meh. But yeah, no, we had a good time last week, and unfortunately, we were not able to record. When we had realized it, it was like, this is not going to work, and there's no way to record and get it out there in a reasonable time. We got back Wednesday night super late, and I was like, well, I was thinking about maybe texting you, but this is not happening now.
No. And that's okay,
actually
good-looking people.
Yeah, it is okay. I actually had the youngest one up, like, just zooming around, and I was like, I don't even know what to do with you right now. Like, you have energy, and I have nothing. So my wife was finally like, okay, we're going to take one more shot at this, and then we'll see what happens. And somehow we all eventually fell asleep.
Yeah, I mean, we've been releasing episodes since 2002. And aside from the planned hiatuses, we've never missed a week. So, I mean, I think it's pretty good.
It's true. We've done our best. I mean, sometimes around the holidays, we've been like, hey, listen, it's the holidays. But, yeah, no, I did feel bad. But, hey, it's the way it goes sometimes, good-looking people.
So, if you missed us last week, good-looking people, we're sorry you missed us, but we're back.
Yes. 1 week absence.
That's right.
But, yeah. But should we get into this episode, Brett?
We should. Let's get into episode 12, Cutting the Cord, wherein Shawn and Angela drop a restraining order that forbids Corey and Topanga from any further interference in their romantic lives. But Shawn still has a difficult time seeing Angela date someone else, especially when they all wind up at the same restaurant together. While there, the couples enter a karaoke contest. Meanwhile, Alan has a midlife crisis and tries to solve his problem by shopping for a motorcycle. This episode was written by Allison M. Gibson. This is her first of 4 that she will write.
Hmm,
She'll also write The Truth About Honesty, You Light Up My Union, and The War. Directed by Kevin Tracy. This is his first of 3. He'll also direct You Light Up My Union, and I'm going to be like you, Dad. He's been an associate director since season 4, so he's not a stranger to the show.
yeah.
Originally aired January 8th, 1999, a full month after our last episode. So we've had a month since the romantic kiss between Shawn and Angela and their official breakup for good.
Hmm.
And currently, this episode enjoys a 7.5 IMDb rating, which is 0.3 lower than our last episode, and is tied at 16 on the season. And let me bring up my document here, and I can tell you what it's tied with. It's tied with My Baby Valentine and State of the Unions.
That's fair.
So, our last episode brought in 11.90 million viewers. Tyler, what do you think after a month off that we brought in?
No, I'm sure we. Well, no. The weird thing is, around this time, is like no longer holiday, but people are inside because it's January, and so what are you gonna do? So I'm guessing, just top of my head, like I don't know, 11.5.
Very close, 11.66.
Ooh, very nice.
So we really didn't drop a whole lot, not even a full
No.
500,000 viewers. So that is our table being set. And we
Yes.
start with a previously on as Shawn and Angela turn.
Don't you love the previously on?
Oh, yeah. Well, after a month off, you kind of need one.
It's true,
But
but it's always so funny the way Boy Meets World does it. Is because on almost any other show, like especially like on streaming platforms, the previously on you can skip. You can't skip Boy Meets World previously on.
no, they're just so infrequent. That's why they're a part of the episode.
Yeah.
So we're going to actually start the real episode proper at a Lamaze class where Eric is filling in for Alan, who is late to class for we don't know why yet. But Eric's
Well,
happy to
Brent,
fill
nothing
in.
nothing like going to Lamaze with your son.
I know. And it's curious that Amy's at Lamaze class for her 4th child, but Eric's
Yeah.
happy to fill in for little Eric or Eric the girl.
Eric's a girl.
We're going to meet the instructor, who's played by Janine Jackson. Only time we'll meet her on Boy Meets World. She has 80 acting credits. She's featured in productions such as Scrooged, Baywatch, Full House, Seinfeld, The Torkelsons, with our friend Minkus.
Hmm,
Married with Children, The Craft, Beverly Hills 90210, Third Rock from the Sun, King of the Hill, ER, and more.
very
And
nice.
she's going to be the one leading everyone through Lamaze instructions.
Ho ho.
That's right. Tyler, did you do any Lamaze classes when you were pregnant with your children?
Well, when I was pregnant with my children, I held them in my womb. um,
The royal you. we
yes, no.
we all know it wasn't
So
you.
we did at the hospital that we were having Grayson at. We had like 2 classes that we went to. It was like 2 Saturdays, and it was kind of just like overview of the whole birthing experience, essentially. Like, what does it look like? Ask any questions, and it was all like it was like maybe like 3 to 4 different nurses and different administrators that were there to like answer any questions, and they had a bunch of different experts come and go. So And it's really like a way to like introduce the hospital to you as a new patient, since
Hmm.
why would you have ever gone to this hospital other than to have babies and
Yeah.
um, had really big needs. So, yeah. And then we also did go and do a feeding your baby, but it was kind of a advertisement for breastfeeding, and if you don't breastfeed, you don't love your baby and all that jazz. So that wasn't great, but um, overall, our experience was kind of nice. Although we did make fun of this guy who was there who kept saying stuff like, "My wife is healthy. Why is she considered high risk? She is a healthy woman." And he goes, "So what? She has twins in her?" And wife looks over and goes, "Yeah, that's why she's high risk. Two babies equals high risk." And what? Like she's starting to have like digestional diabetes? My wife goes, "Yes, that's also a cause for her." It was like no matter what this guy said, it was like you're adding to why it's high risk. And I think at one point said like, "Oh, what? She's like a little bit old, like in her higher 30s, so that makes her high risk." And it's like, yes, all the things you're mentioning
You're just laying
except
out every reason, sir.
yeah, it's just literally like, what? Because of this? What? Because of that? It's like, yes, buddy, all the things you're saying makes her a high risk. Doesn't matter how healthy of a person she was before she got pregnant. All these
Every one of
factors.
these factors would make her high risk. All of them
Yes.
together really do, sir.
Yeah. Did you guys do Lamaze or any type of class?
Well, we good looking people, all of our births were home births, so we went through a midwife and
Ew.
she did you don't you yuck my yum. Our that sounded weird saying it.
I know. Well, when your babies were in your womb, I understand.
Um, we went through midwives for our births, and so we didn't do any official classes, but in the weeks leading up to each birth, she would go through stuff like breathing and prenatal care and postnatal care with us. So, I mean, we had
Yeah.
the same type of coaching that you would get through these classes, but not with a big room full of people. It was all one on one.
Yeah.
So we got the
No,
same
I mean,
information, just one on one.
yeah, for all babies after our first, we didn't do any classes because we were like, I think we got this.
Yeah, after one, you're kind of in the zone.
I mean, and I will say for Amy, I could understand her being nervous about being older in pregnancy
Hmm.
and wanting to know, like, is there stuff I didn't learn before? Because probably after Eric, Corey, she was confident. Morgan, she's confident. And now she's like,
Morgan's
I
in
don't know if
junior
I'm
high
confident.
now.
Right. And
It's been a
that's a big
while.
gap.
Yeah. So I can understand Amy's hesitance. I can also
Mhm.
understand Alan's aversion to wanting to go back through.
Mhm. Yes, Brett, why was Alan late to Lamaze class?
Well, Alan's a little bit when he finally does get there. Let's set the stage because Eric and
Yes, go
Amy
ahead.
meet another woman there named Jessica, whose husband is absent. Uh, named by played by an actress by the name of Kirsten Nelson. Only time we'll see her in Boy Meets World. 46 acting credits to her name. She's acted in such productions as The Fugitive, The Pretender, The West Wing, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Ally McBeal, Frasier, Malcolm in the Middle, NCIS, Bones. But her biggest break was on Psych.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Hey, which, by the way, actress was pregnant, and instead of writing her off, they just said, "We'll just make your character pregnant."
there you go. So, yeah. So, but Eric is making Alan out to be a deadbeat dad there. But
Yeah.
and I love when he talks about Amy wobbling like a weeble. It's just fun. But
Wobbling
Alan
like a
does
weeble.
finally come in, and he's very reluctant to admit that he was out looking at motorcycles.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, hold on.
Yes.
I'm looking at this, and I know I watched the episode, and I know it's in me, but the wife says, "My husband's in the Navy," and at
Mm-hmm.
no point do any of them go, "So was Al."
No, no one brings that up. We're at the point in the series we've forgotten that Alan served. I don't
Yeah,
think we will ever reference that again. I think we're past that.
it's like they rewrote all the backstory to Alan never went into the Navy. Also, somehow he's 43 now.
Yes, he is definitively 43 as of this episode.
Yeah. He has a 21-year-old and somehow is 43.
Yeah. So he was 22 canonically now when he had Eric.
Yeah.
Which doesn't leave a whole lot of time to serve in the Navy and become a silver medal boxing champion.
Yeah. No, it does not.
And tour most of Pennsylvania with a band.
Yeah, and tour most of Pennsylvania in a band.
And
When
start working at a working at a grocery store and work your way up to manager.
Yeah, just there is at no point any context and continuity for his character. He is whatever he needs to be in the moment.
His past is a blank slate. He's secretly
and
a
his
spy.
mom never came back. Did grandma die?
We'll never know because we never hear from her again before the series ends.
Yeah. And both the Hunters and the Matthews have a Nana Boo Boo.
Yes.
And she's either hot or gross, depending on the episode.
Yeah. But
so anywho,
yeah, Eric's gonna shift over. He's gonna help out Jessica since her husband is in the Navy, and that's why he's not there.
Do you not love the sensitivity of Eric? She goes, "Hey, I could use a partner." He goes, "Well, I'm here. Like, yeah, I can help you out." And then,
oh yeah,
to skip ahead a smidgen, like Eric starts reading one of the books probably that was there.
Eric is on board with this whole pregnancy situation.
Yeah,
he is
he's
excited.
like, "Hey, I'm gonna help this woman bring this baby into the world."
Eric is on board with parenting. It is established throughout the series since he dated that girl that had a kid. He is on board with being a dad. He does not shy away from it. And he just gets excited about parenting.
Yeah. You almost kind of wish, Brett, that I'm blanking on her name right now. But the woman that he was dating, I want to say it's Rebecca, but I don't think it's Rebecca. The mom of Ryan, and it also would have been nice if she had come back like pregnant again, and that's when he's like, "Oh, hey, I said I'd be responsible for a child, yada yada," and wouldn't that be nice? I don't know, just there's Kelly was her name.
There we go.
But yeah, it's so funny how much they talk about Eric being a dad, and the show never gives him the opportunity.
Yep. It's a missed opportunity for sure.
It is.
Well, after having both women become weebles that wobble because Alan and Eric are high-fiving about a motorcycle or a little yellow Corvette, I believe. We're going to go and shift into Act 1, where Shawn and Angela do not believe that Corey can stay out of their lives. And to a lesser extent, Topanga, they've drawn up a restraining order, which I did clip a little bit of.
Okay, go ahead.
You're our best friends, but we have no right to tell you to be together if that's not what you want.
We don't believe you.
You don't believe me?
No. Him. We don't believe him. Which is why we've drawn up a little document.
This is a restraining order.
Yes, it is.
Corey Matthews and Topanga Lawrence are hereby forbidden to interfere with the separation of or encourage accidental rendezvous between Shawn and Angela. In addition, the aforementioned parties are...
Aforementioned parties? Is this what we are to you?
Well, I, for one, do not need a piece of paper to know when to butt out.
And I do? All right, I do.
Yeah, Corey does. He chose the wrong time to chew.
Brett, I need someone other than Topanga to be a law student. Just one of their friends should be a pre-law student. I don't care who it is. Maybe it's Gambling Dan, but just someone needs to have a pre-law degree. Because we don't know what degrees they're going for, what majors they are, but they, just being normal college freshmen coming back from break, wouldn't do this. Like, so there's almost a point of like, because the way they make it seem is like it's an actual restraining order, not just our friends are writing this thing out saying, please promise and sign your name here, promising. Like, it almost sounds like it's notarized the way they're treating this thing.
It's very legalese. They really missed an opportunity to grow their friend group a little bit by, they could have floated some background characters in and out, bring a few lines here and there every episode or 3. Hey, this is our friend who's a pre-law student. This is our friend the bio student. This is our friend the history major. They just float them in every few episodes according to the story needs. Shawn and Angela want to draft up something to make sure Corey doesn't get into it, so they go to their pre-law friend.
Yeah. The funny thing is, Brett, that's the show we had at one point. Like, they had a bunch of random characters who would kind of float in and out and then would make an impact while they were there. And then we went to this format where these are the 7 people who are in every episode. And sometimes there are teachers / professors, and sometimes there's parents and siblings.
Yep. Yeah, but we grew the show up and we got away from that format.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I like the joke because especially this guy goes, "Yeah, sure, I need this."
Yeah, I mean it works. It's a good joke.
Yeah.
It works. Corey does need something to keep him out of it. And they know he's got a good intention, but
right. Well, you could argue that Corey is one of those people where he wants his word to be his bond, but he will always follow his heart. And if he thinks what his heart wants is more important than the word he gave, he'll break his word. But if he writes it down of what he is consenting to and agreeing to, he goes, "Well, I wrote my name. I agreed to it. Those are the terms. I said I signed, and so I can't."
Yeah, Corey's fear at breaking a document like that is going to trump his heart. Yeah, but
he's abusive.
So everyone agrees. No one's Shawn and Angela are done. Then and Corey and Topanga are not going to interfere. And Shawn is ready for action. He's been out of circulation too long. He's ready to get back out there. In fact, he's got a date. Where are you going to take her? I don't know. Who cares?
Yeah, it really sounds like he's interested in a date.
Yeah. But let's meet his date. Her name is Kelly. Played by
Not
Heather.
the Kelly we were talking about before.
No, not the Kelly we were talking about before. Played by Heather Marie Marsden. Only time we'll see her in Boy Meets World. 48 acting credits. Featured in shows such as Silk Stockings, California Dreams, That Thing You Do, Step by Step.
Step by step, day by day.
Suddenly Susan, Charmed,
day by day.
Drake and Josh, The Office, and more. And
it's gonna take some time to realize. Speaking of The Office, Brett, we took a detour and drove through Scranton.
Did you really?
We did. We were like, we're so close, we might as well. And we didn't realize it was really setting us back. We had not happy babies after that.
I believe it. But Shawn is not exactly the most engaging date on this date.
No, why? Why is he going on a date, Brett? Why?
Because he thinks that's what he's supposed to do. He's supposed to get back out there. He wanted to meet people. This is what he's supposed to do. But and at least, I mean, credit to him, he went out on a double date with Corey and Topanga, where at least Corey can talk him up.
Shawn's a ton of fun.
But it's
Corey is trying to be a supportive friend. It is not working because his friend doesn't want to be there.
Yeah, and credit to Kelly. I mean, she's a very patient woman who's willing to wait it out and see, how Shawn really is. And, she understands he just got out of a long relationship. I mean, I say just, but let's be honest. Shawn and Angela haven't really been together for months.
No, but I think just Shawn and Angela did that thing where they break up. They don't really want to be broken up, and they say they're going to go date other people, but they don't. So the breakup kind of lingers. So they're more like separated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you could say that. But Shawn was the king. He was the king. But how quickly Shawn perks up.
I do love that. Would you feel better if Angela's in the same place as you? Then get up. She's in the same place as you.
So Feeney, if the sun never sets on the Roman Empire, then when do they watch Letterman?
Corey is a good friend because that makes no sense. But instead of turning him down, he just goes for it.
Yep, he turns it on. And Angela walks in with her date Ron, played by Kareem Prince. Only time we'll see him. 30 acting credits to his name. And Tyler, do you recognize him?
Is that Shawn?
You mean Ron?
No, just for whatever reason, you said, do you recognize him? Like, I don't know. Is that Shawn, the guy she dated for an episode?
No. No, you should recognize him because that's the blue alien Power Ranger from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and Power Rangers Zeo.
Yeah, Brett, because the guy with the giant thing on his head, I recognize him.
Yeah. He was also on NYPD Blue, The Sentinel, Moesha, The Bold and the Beautiful, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, CSI Miami 24. He's also on Power Rangers Project Zodiac and others. I'm assuming he's reprising his role as the blue alien Power Ranger for that. So he'll probably have that big bulbous head again. Yeah, who knew the blue alien Power Ranger could sing?
I did not.
Yeah. But Shawn handles the situation very diplomatically in the second clip that I have for our episode tonight.
Oh, very good.
This is Ron.
Hey, guys.
Hi, Ron. How are you? I'm Shawn. Good to meet you. This is Kelly, my date. That's Topanga and Corey, and this is Kelly, my date. I understand we have a potentially embarrassing situation here, but I hope we can all be mature and have a wonderful time. Angela, it's always good to see you. Ron seems like a great guy. Enjoy yourselves. Have a good night. This is Kelly, my date.
And this is Kelly, my date. Yes. At which point, Shawn melts back into the table and, groans. So we'll go check out Eric reading all his pregnancy book and grossing out Jack and Rachel. And Alan stops by, and Alan is... Let's see, here's where I really relate to Alan. Alan is as old as I will be this year. Alan is picking out a motorcycle. I have one in my garage that I'm working on getting my endorsement for. Now, I don't have ape hangers on it, but still, by the end of the summer, I'll be riding on what Alan's hoping to get. I don't have a fourth child coming, barring a miracle of biblical proportions. But I really relate to Alan going through his midlife crisis in a lot of ways here, just without the motivation behind it.
Mm-hmm.
But Alan he is really going through this crisis. And Eric's advice is not the most sensitive for the moment. What do you think of Eric's advice?
So I will say this. Eric is now diving deep into the mindset of how to help a healthy baby come into this world. So to look at the suffering of his father, he's like, I don't understand. You're a good dad. Why are you worried about not being a good dad again? And this need to be younger is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but Alan's not necessarily wanting to be younger. He's worried that he's going to be the old man, and that's all that he can be to his new kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an honest fear, and that's for the 90s, that's really great that they're talking about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very much so. It's very progressive for the 90s that Alan is able to open up and share those concerns with anyone, much less his son.
Well, we saw last season Eric wanted to know the deep stuff, and Alan is giving him a moment of the deep stuff.
Mm-hmm. I do like that the writers have continued this aspect of their relationship. Yeah.
We won't see him playing basketball with Corey all that often, but
no, we won't. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah, me too. Corey should not be playing basketball.
No, he should not.
Yeah, but I do like also that Rachel and Jack are both encouraging him as well. Like, hey, our dads also went through this, and you are a good dad, and the next one is going to be lucky to have you as well.
Yep. And it's great that they are able to see how good of a father he is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I mean, we can't shut up about how good of a father he is. So,
yeah. So let's check in at the restaurant, see how the karaoke's going. For Shawn, it kills him to have to watch Angela singing a romantic song with someone else.
Mm-hmm.
It really does.
Isn't it so interesting the songs they chose for each of the couples, Brett?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, choosing it's in his kiss for Angela to sing with Ron when the last romantic moment we had between Shawn and Angela was their kiss under the Christmas lights. That's the last romantic memory Shawn's going to have with Angela before the discussion, the argument, the separation.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've Got You, Babe, song of support and love, and just something that Shawn does not believe that he can offer or can extend to anyone.
Yeah. Well,
and he's got to sing it in front of someone that he just let go.
Mm-hmm. I was like, let alone the girl's trying to hold hands with him to be all romantic, and he's like, I can't do that.
Yeah. And then you've got Corey and Topanga's song choice,
which is my favorite moment of the episode, Brett. Now, I will tell you before we talk about this, I have a very distinct memory that I was on a road trip going down 79 with my family, and we started singing the song right around this time of this episode coming out. Now, it might be that I'm confused, but I did confirm with an expert who was there saying, yes, we did do this because you thought it was so funny. So it might not have been exactly when this episode came out, but there was a point when, within, say, a year, And we were traveling down the highway, and I kept doing this song in the back, and thought it was so funny because it'd be like, "War, huh!" But I also really like the part. I was like, "No, you do the Topanga part, and I'll go. This is all a big joke to you, isn't it, Topanga?" So I have this memory. It's one of my favorites. But yes, can we, Brett? I need to know what your thoughts are on this beautiful song.
I think it was the perfect choice for those two to convey the sentiment.
Yes.
I think Corey was going for the win, and he overshot.
Yeah.
I think they did a much better job of it in the tag.
I do love the tag so much, and it's
Yes.
one of those times
I'm
when they
so
let it
glad
just
they
be
filmed it.
a blooper. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm so glad they filmed that for the tag.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's one of those pure moments too, where they're just kind of just taking it as far as they'll let them take it.
I wonder if it's almost they wanted to go for an alternate and see which one they liked better, if they just let them run with it, or if they wanted to go with what they'd scripted for this part and see if they liked it better.
I liked it better.
I don't like the war.
War's no good. No more. I love the commitment of Corey to sing this song so passionately.
Gyrate those hips along with it. Yes. Grabbing the air. I do love it. It is a highlight for the episode. But Kelly is very understanding for when Shawn calls it quits on the song. I mean, she's been very highly understanding all night for Shawn. I think she would definitely give him a second date if and when he ever gets his crap together.
You know what came out in July, Brett, that would have been in released in Christmas on home video? Small Soldiers. That could have been the inspiration.
Yeah,
but either way.
Yeah.
That song became super popular out of nowhere again, I noticed, in the late 90s, because also Rush Hour has a very famous scene where they are singing that song and doing karate down the street, dancing.
Yep. Well, let's check back in at Lamaze class where Eric's there again.
Miss, mine broke.
Helping out. Yep.
Miss, mine broke.
That would be his baby they're practicing burping with. And Alan and Amy are there. Alan is really asking what they're doing. You know, why are we here? You know, we've already got 3 kids. So why do we really need to be here? And Eric's partner goes into labor. It's time for the baby to come. Everyone is freaking out. We find out the instructor, it's not actually her class. She's filling in. She doesn't know what to do.
She only knows how to do the breathing and burping.
Eric is really concerned because...
Miss, mine broke.
Alan very coolly and calmly takes control of the situation, tells the instructor to call the hospital. They're 5 minutes away. They'll be right there. They take Jessica with them, and they get her to the hospital where the baby arrives healthy, happy. And we find this out because eventually we will get checked back in with them at the apartment. But first, we're going to talk with Shawn. Because Shawn is realizing...
I'd rather talk about how Alan acted. Fine, let's talk about Mopey Shawn.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Shawn and get him out of the way. Shawn is realizing that how broken he is and the baggage that he carries. And he's talking with Corey, and he is just he's just now realizing all of the weight that he's carrying with him. And he asks the question, what if I'm incapable of loving someone? And he feels as if he is utterly alone and he doesn't know how to get out of that feeling.
Yeah.
And that's where that's where we leave him, essentially.
Mhm.
That's where he's been sitting for the first 12 episodes of this season. That's where all of this comes from. The letting go of Angela, the trying to fit in with gambling Dan and Louie, and why he can't connect with Kelly, and all of this because he feels utterly alone. He feels like he's incapable of loving anyone, incapable of connecting with anyone. And he doesn't know how to fix it.
Well, and there's two things about this, Brett, I think is very important. A, this is why colleges offer free counseling to students.
Yes.
And also why there needs to be like a psych major that they're friends with, because
at the very least they
you
could
know,
tell him to go.
Yeah, or maybe a grad student that's a counselor or pre psych or something like that. Just something, Brett, something. Anywho,
Yeah. Someone that's not
there
just Corey.
There are academic advisors and people that could have helped Shawn.
No, there's only Myron. Only one academic advisor for the whole campus, remember?
Yes, that's it. Just Myron, because he's the guidance counselor for college students.
But yeah, they really need someone that's not just Corey that can step into Shawn's life and speak into it.
Yeah.
We needed Turner.
Yeah, we needed someone who is there to be a non-judgmental big brother figure for both of them. Like, they almost should have had someone that was like their RA, someone who is their, residential mentor for a freshman dorm or whatever. Something simple that is harmless, but, anywho. The other thing, though, Brett, is I will say, is this goes into that because all they heard for the last umpteen years, for at least 5 seasons, go to college. You go to college, you'll get a good job. Go to college, you'll get the education you need. Go to college, go to college, go to college. These there. I think all 4 of them are experiencing I was told go to college. I'm now here. Now what? All I've done is get ready to be in college. I'm at college. Now what?
Yeah.
Because college, the way it was pitched to them, and it's the way it's pitched to many millennials, is go to college and you'll be fixed. All your answers will be answered, and all of the things will be okay. And even for someone like me who was very firm on what I wanted to do going to college, I had at least a week or two where I very seriously considered dropping out, and just saying, I don't want this, and I'm done. Luckily, I had someone who I could turn to. I had a couple of people I could turn to, and mostly it was my wife saying, "You are not allowed to do that." But yeah, college is hard. It's not easy, and it's a lot more emotionally and mentally taxing on you than you realize.
Yep. And Shawn's next week is not going to be any easier for him.
No.
Spoiler alert for you good-looking people.
It only gets harder from here.
It does. So we'll check back into the apartment because Alan and Amy are coming to the apartment. We're bringing pizza. We're bringing root brewskis. Very clearly root brewskis because Amy's drinking. And it's a 8:30 p.m. show. No motorcycle for Alan.
No motorcycle for Alan.
Jack can borrow the station wagon, not the motorcycle.
Yeah, but also, why does Alan have a station wagon now?
Yeah. He doesn't really need a station wagon. I don't know why he has to have one.
can have a sedan or a Jeep.
But Eric gives him some good advice instead of what he was given earlier, and I clipped this for us.
There's never been any question about how much I want the baby, Amy. I'm just worried about how much the baby's going to want me. I'm afraid I'm going to be, too tired to play catch or teach him how to ride a bike. I'm worried I'm not going to have enough energy to run around with him the way we did with the other kids.
You think that's what makes you a good father? I mean, yeah, sure, you taught me how to swing a bat, but any Little League coach could do that. I mean, it was more important that you were there for me after I struck out. You made me feel better. You were always there for me, man, just to listen to me, to give me advice, to help me get through stuff. Just like you did today. You're never going to be too old to do that.
He needs to hear it.
Never going to be too old, Brett, to be there for your kids.
No, I won't. And sometimes you need to hear it from your kids that the things that you were good at with them, the things that where you succeeded with them, sometimes you need to hear that from them.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, especially if you're in shoes where you're in Alan's case, all you can see is the negative side of things. You can't see where you could succeed, and you need to be reminded by someone that you've had successes with just how you succeeded.
Yeah. No, I mean, again, I'm very early on in my parenting, but I tend to see the areas right now where the areas where I need to be dad first for my eldest specifically, and how to do that for him, and that I know it's going to pay dividends into the future of being consistent with him. At least that's my hope. But I think I've always felt that showing up for your kid, that's what it means to be a good dad. It doesn't matter if you teach him how to play ball. It doesn't matter if you teach him how to change a tire, show him how to do all the things that, it means to be a man. What matters is when their world is falling apart, are you there to pick them up? And do they know they can go to you no matter what?
Yep. And Alan was that for his kids, and I strive to be that for my kids, and you strive to be that for your kids. That's all we can do as dads.
Yep. Exactly.
Yep. And so we'll close out the main body of the episode in the student union. Everyone except for Shawn is hanging out, including Ron hanging out for the last time we'll see him ever. They're just talking about how many kids everyone wants. And of course, Jack changes his mind when Rachel has how many she wants. And Corey and Topanga apparently have set a date for when their wedding is, because Corey's doing the math and realizes that
I better go brush my teeth.
if his math is right, it means tonight will be the night. Oh, yes. And Shawn is portrayed as coming up to the doors and seeing everyone inside, and we get the imagery of him being outside all by himself and everyone else on the inside.
Yep. Looking all sad.
And then, of course, we get the tag where Corey and Topanga sing War in full enthusiasm.
Yep.
And that, good-looking people, is our episode.
I'm a little sad you don't have that clip, Brett, but I understand you don't want to get taken down.
Oh, yes. Too much for the YouTube. That would definitely get struck. I don't think I could even upload it without it getting struck. So, Tyler, do you have a deep dives for us?
Yeah, but I'm doing some basic math right now, so give me a second. Go ahead, hit the music.
All right.
People. Am I the only one who read the summer reading list?
Okay, so right now, good-looking people, I'm going through and seeing, because he says, "Oh, we're getting married in 9 months." So, is it 9 months from that date whenever Corey and Topanga get married? I don't recall.
That's a very good question.
I mean, we know hindsight is 2020, or really, in this case, 1999.
Well, in theory,
Season 7.
this episode effectively takes place in January, so it would have to be
It's
sometime
about
in
time.
September.
November. Dang it, Brett! They were 1 month
Off by 2 months.
That's
Yeah,
1 month.
they were
'cause
close.
The ninth month should be October. They're married in November. At least that's what IMDb says.
Well, IMDb's got some funny math because this episode is taking place at the beginning of January. 9 months from that would be the beginning of September.
Well, no, but if it's 9 months away, you wouldn't count January's month. The first month would
No,
be
very
February.
true, because it's technically, I mean, a gestation period is technically 10 months, but
Right.
yeah.
We're talking about babies here, after all.
Very true. Yeah. So, yes, off by a month.
The show could have had a nice Easter egg that could have been talked about forever, but why can't we have nice things, Brett?
Because the November sweeps.
I was going to say because Michael Jacob hates us. All right, let's start with Letterman, Brett, because, clearly Letterman is still the big hubbubaloo at this time. The Letterman show ran from 1993. The Late Show with David Letterman ran from 1993 until 2015. We kind of had talked about this a little bit beforehand because of the whole what late show were they talking about, and we kind of figured it's probably Letterman. So I'm assuming just some of the writers just had a infatuation in general with the show. So, but the other show that was really big was the original late night, which was later taken over by Conan O'Brien, then Jimmy Fallon, and now Seth Meyers. Which I gotta say, Brett, Seth Meyers is still my favorite talk show host.
Conan.
Well, that's fine. That's the generation I would expect you to pick.
Although Craig Ferguson was a lot of fun, too.
Craig Ferguson was a lot of fun. So let's talk about mucus plugs, Brett.
Yoo-hoo!
All right,
people,
the mucus plug. It's actually so funny because he reads about it and he's exactly right on. Because the mucus plug collects mucus and then eventually just kind of pops, and then within a certain amount of time period that's different between different ladies, the later on your water will break, and also some will have some discharge before that. So that's a fun word you learn, is about discharge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, you don't have to necessarily have the mucus plug pop. It can happen, doctors can do that themselves and help along. But for the most part, mucus plug will go, and then it won't be long after that. Although sometimes it is a long time after that. So for any good-looking people out there who have not had babies yet, just so you know, no one knows nothing about any of it.
It's all an adventure.
Yeah. But if you want to help with that, there are some options, some titles that is just from an Amazon search. You got The Simplest Pregnancy Book in the World, The Mayo Clinic Guide to a Healthy Pregnancy, the classic What to Expect When You're Expecting, Real Food, for pregnancy. Ba, 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 ba. We're Pregnant, the First Time Dad pregnancy handbook. I like how the picture is a guy in panic. Pregnancy Day by Day. Pregnancy Guide for Men. And we're... No, not that one. There was another one I thought. Oh, another one for the dads out there. You Will Rock as a Dad. Although this one is interesting. The SHIT, no one tells you about pregnancy.
That sounds like a winner.
It does sound like a winner. All right, so let's talk real quick, Brett, about the songs that were chosen for this particular episode. I find it funny because these songs are like, they're older, but they've been in the zeitgeist somehow for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll start with War, written by Norman Whitfield and Barrett Strong from Motown label in 1969. It has apparently been re-recorded multiple times over the years. It has hit the Billboard 100 chart. It has hit number 1 on the Billboard 100 chart in 1997. It's been in multiple different movies and TV shows over the years, and I do believe that others have also done their own versions of the song, but probably the original would be the best, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
That's like where to go. All right. Next was It's in His Kiss, the Shoop Shoop song. Was written and composed by Rudy Clark. First released in 1963 by Mary Clayton, but did not chart. And then a year later, Betty Everett, and it hit number 1 on the Cashbox Max magazine R&B charts, and then later was covered by Cher in 1990, which is probably why it was in the zeitgeist in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, another song made very famous by Cher, I Got You Babe, which was written and sang by Cher and Sonny Bono, by Sonny and Cher. First debuted in the album Look at Us in 1965. I spent 3 weeks at number 1 on the Billboard 100. Isn't that cool? So, some very classic songs, I will say.
Mm-hmm.
A little more information, of course, on what happens when birth is happening in front of you for the good-looking people, because clearly this lady at Lamaze did not know anything about it and panicked, and luckily someone who has taken someone to the hospital at least 3 times was calm, cool, and was together. So first would be the water breaking. Common, but not always has to happen exactly. It's quite often used in television shows because it's an easy trope, but women will start having contractions and then go into labor without water breaking. Helpful, but it's not required right away. So part of that is that the fetus is moving down the bag of water, also known as the amniotic sac. And all of this is forcing baby out of the area that they've been sleeping for a while. Or as we like to say in the world, a woman's tummy. Because we don't talk about these things. So what should you do, Brett, whenever this occurs? The best possible case is that you call your healthcare provider, whether that's your midwife who's going to deliver at home, or if you have a doula service. Doulas, very helpful out there. Thank you for your work. Or, also if you just have a doctor you have on standby. So the biggest thing is just you call the person because you got to get to the hospital. If your contractions are within 5 minutes apart, you got to know that baby's coming soon. So get to the hospital. Um, Basically, as this process is starting, you need to be ready to move and be able to get there.
Yep.
Yeah, there are other technical terms here, but luckily I've gone through this multiple times, so I can just tell you from experience. All right, Brett. Restraining order or protective order is an order used by a court to protect a person in a situation often involving alleged violence, abuse, neglect, assault, harassment, stalking, or sexual assault. So one of the reasons I have a hard time with them saying this is a restraining order is unless it's a true restraining order, they probably shouldn't make the joke this way.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah. And last but not least, Brett, the midlife crisis. Traditionally around the middle age of most men, around 45 years old to 65 years old. But I'm described as a psychological crisis brought on by the events that highlight a person's growing age, inevitably mortality, and lack of accomplishments in their life. They produce a feeling of inadequacy, intense depression, remorse, high levels of anxiety, and a desire to achieve youthfulness, most drastic change to their current lifestyle, or change past decisions and events. So that's the reason why you got a bunch of 60-year-olds that still look like they're in their 40s, because I think they're going through a midlife crisis.
Could be.
Yeah. Some actors come out with a movie every couple of years and they go, what are they going to do next? And it's like, they're trying to kill themselves and get it recorded. Stop putting them in movies. Yeah. I don't know. I have a big problem with the generation of Gen X and unwillingness to actually allow themselves to age and look like they're aging. Like Brad Pitt is now in a Formula One movie. I'm sorry, Brad. That should be a movie from 20 years ago. 30 years ago. You should be the old guy in the chair now giving advice to the young guy.
Yeah. I can't argue with you on that one.
But Brett, here's the thing, all right? This is a small tangent, and then I promise we'll get to the rest of the podcast. In the 90s, when there was a crave about wrestling, you know what they kept saying about people like Macho Man Randy Savage, Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan? They're all saying they're getting old. They need to retire. They're getting old.
Mm-hmm.
The ages that they were then are now the ages that most active wrestlers are, and they don't look old.
Steroids.
Like John Cena's trying to retire right now. He's on a retirement tour. He is older than Hulk Hogan was back at one point. Like back whenever he was being told you should retire. He is older than him, Brett, and doesn't look like it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Steroids and Botox.
Well, probably. Anyway, those are the deep dives and some mad cravings of a weirdo who was on vacation last week.
All right. Well, let's talk about what we learned.
You know anything about the Odyssey?
Huh? Did I say you could talk?
I didn't teach you that.
My friend Mr. Matthews will lead the discussion.
Do I have to draw you a picture?
What did we learn this week? Well, my lesson from the sadly absent in this episode, Mr. Feeney, was that I was reminded that age is just a number. It doesn't matter how old or young you are, you can still bring value into the lives of your children. You just need to be there for them and with them. Tyler, what did you learn this week?
I learned that Corey is a really good friend and his friends don't appreciate him. I mean, honestly, like, Corey is doing everything he can to support Shawn and to be supportive of Angela and take her at her word and trying to not meddle and just he's getting nothing.
Would
No help.
you say that Corey now has
vast emotional damage?
Yes. Absolutely.
Ah, yes. All right, well.
I'm right.
No, you're exactly right.
So am I done with my education? Can I go?
How would you grade Cutting the Cord?
I didn't expect this, Brett, but I'm going to give it a solid A. This is one of those classic episodes for me. I go back to it. I enjoy it. Now, as a dad, I enjoy the Alan part a lot more. I'm frustrated with Shawn, as always, but Corey is carrying the scenes and doing his best, and it's one of those it's one of those tags, Brett, that just hums and brings me so much joy. So there's joy to be had, Brett, other than a sad moping Shawn. So I give it a solid A. Now give me your bad grade, Brett.
Actually, my grade that I wrote on my initial watch through of this before I took any notes has not changed at all. This one's coming out with a solid A for me as well.
Woo!
It's a solid Alan story from wire to wire.
Yeah.
Corey is not a horrible person this week. Shawn, even in the midst of his... Shawn is a very relatable, broken person this week. And his wallowing is very relatable. So, I mean, everyone has their role to play this week, and they play it well. So, I mean, it's I have no knocks to give.
Woohoo!
So, I've got a couple of dad jokes for you before we get out of here.
Hit me.
All right. So, my brother and I were at the pool the other day, and he decided he was going to go pee in the deep end. The lifeguard blew his whistle so loud that he nearly fell in.
Very nice.
And I beat up a couple of vampires. I'm being charged with assault on 2 counts. Yes.
Oh,
so, good-looking people. That is going to do it for us this week. Thank you for sticking around with us. You can always reach out to us through our social media channels across Facebook, Instagram, X, and YouTube at dadsmeetworld. You can leave us a message. You can ask questions. You can send us an email at dadsmeetworld@gmail.com. And you can leave us a review or a rating wherever you find us at your podcast catcher. It helps other people find us, and we love to share the dad love. And that's all the reminders I have to give this week. So, until next time, I'll see you, good looking.
War!
Good God, y'all.
This is all a big joke to you, isn't it, Brett?
How can I learn so much every week and still be so stupid? Oh, I am never gonna pee again! Ow, that hot. Underpants. This is good TV. Read the Bible.
Dads Meet World is a production of Headfirst Studios. Headfirst Studios. Tell your story.